What's going on, gamers? So we got some interesting news here coming from Jeff Grubb and Nate Dade. Yeah. And why this is going to be good and how we're going to get some awesome games. So starting off, let's start off here. Jeff Grubb says Sony are planning a state of play, or maybe a showcase, but probably a state of play before the end of September. Interesting. So, of course, this always matters for the Xbox world too, because you guys know now you're getting PlayStation games. So you want to be just as interested in Sony showcases as you would be in your own, of course. This is just intertwining coming on. Who knows? They can announce their next live service game coming to Xbox. You know what I mean? That we may not know about. There's a whole operation going on here. So we definitely want some answers. We need to know what the hell is going on here. Just as a gamer looking at games, you know, I tell you guys, if a game is good, I don't care what platform it's on. I'm going to say it's a good game, not because it's not on my platform. I just look at a good game as a good game and do not let any bias get in the way of that. So that we just be honest with ourselves without any bias getting in the way. But we have that, and then we have Nate the Hate saying that there's a Nintendo Direct in September. So we'll get to that in a second. But let's get to this first and get this out the way. Awesome stuff. So we got a lot of announcements coming. Maybe they may get some announcements coming from more from Microsoft and Sony as well. We're going to see. There's a lot of things that could be interested in any of these because it can always be that now. Things are a little bit more spicy now, and I think we kind of like that. So let's see what Jeff Grubb has to say here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go, guys.
Games. I'm wondering when we see it again and if we ever see it again. I guess on that front, I'll point out I've heard, and this one I feel comfortable saying, yeah, you can go write headlines about this if you want. They're planning a state of play or maybe a showcase, but probably a state of play for the end of September or before the end of September. So we're gonna get updates from Sony here pretty soon, and I don't think Fair Games shows up at that thing. I think they're going to just focus on a handful of other stuff.
Interesting that he's talking about Fair Game. So, I don't know, man. If the main, like Jay, if the main person leaves, I don't see how that's a good sign. And they didn't give us any update to Fair Game's doing good on progress. It's on the way. Don't worry. We still have confidence in it. Like, you know how they would at least come out and said something positive about Concord, which is what I find interesting because we just haven't gotten that from Fair Game. The update was she's leaving, and then there was just that trailer, and then it was blank for a long time. What the hell's going on? California firings were going on. I feel like what Sony needs to do is give people more communication on their live service on what's going on so people can know what they need to look forward to. Like some type of roadmap or something. I just feel like it would help because after Helldivers, people are building a bond and a trust in their live service. So they got that in with the first time on Xbox. It's doing well. We saw the 600,000. Congratulations on that. Well, I know it's at more than that now. And now over here, let's see what Sony's plans are next. We'll find out. I don't know. Helldivers is amazing. With Fair Games, they're going to have to surprise me. Let me know what you guys think about that.
Let's talk about what you're expecting from Sony beyond the live service strategy. Do you feel like they're going to be able to get back on track with delivering the kinds of games that people mostly bought a PS5 to play?
I
hope so.
I think they've moved on and they just haven't said anything yet. It's another case where
that's an interesting subject. So he's saying they're not going to do any single, but no, they're still going to do that. They need to finish this generation strong, but let's continue seeing what he's going to say.
A lot of these games were developed and then the pandemic, or they were in development, then the pandemic hit and everything got screwed up. And now I feel like they've never fully recovered. Sometimes,
excuse me,
when you're running, when you're a kid and you run too fast and your legs just start going crazy and you're doing whatever you can to keep from falling down. I feel like they're in the beginnings of that. Our legs are going crazy and they might be able to catch it. I mean, it's Sony. They can do it. I mean, they're the most successful console out there right now, other than the Switch, obviously. But for modern generation power 4K consoles, it's the PS5. And also, PlayStation fans, they'll stick by them through thick and thin. It's like they took marriage vows for 6.
Some of that is kind of true, I have to say. Then you'll get the once in a while. But then, guys, we got those that, I don't know, man. Zubitech went black and white one time and became a PC enthusiast, and then He realized that he belongs in the pony world with colors. You can't go in a black and white. Ponies need colors. So he came back, and then you had some people crashing out too, abandoning PlayStation. Uh, like, man, I thought y'all loved Sony. I thought you loved the platform. It's only about exclusives only?
Innocent in health, for better or for worse. So I think just that alone will carry them. As far as what they're putting out for output, I don't know, man. Those huge AAA franchises were such a defining characteristic of like the end of the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 era. But I don't know with the development costs if they pay off like they used to, but I feel like that's still.
Well, that's where they need to balance their budget. Because that's what that is. And I know they want to make so much on live service that they can cover that and it'll be fine. Because that stuff does end up helping. Nadalio is doing the same thing. That's their strategy as well. But I think Sony's going to be fine, and they're going to have to show that if you've been in the business that long enough, you are going to be a market leader in some degree. Till diminishing returns are no longer that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, every day it passes, it gets close to diminishing returns, closer and closer. And there's not going to be much of a technological difference in the future, and it's going to be more about high quality development. How good are your games? Because everything looks good. So those that have already been the best developers have the huge disadvantage because then they can just develop and now everything's maxed out automatically. Yeah, the difference of that then is just your development and first party. It's going to be interesting when we get to that, but I still think that's a while away.
Where their heart and strategy lies is in these gigantic, enormous games that can then, become HBO television series and things like that, these prestige games. So, yeah, I think they've changed and turned their attention to whatever the next generation is, whether that is a PlayStation 6 or if that is just making games that run on, everything and anything like what Microsoft is doing. But It's a bummer. I love, man, I was so obsessed with my PlayStation 1. I was completely I went all over the state trying to get a PlayStation 2 when it came out. And then I kind of fell off.
Yeah, I love my PS1. It's fun. One of the first games I had was Ape Escape, Medieval, and X-Men versus Street Fighter. Oh yeah, it was a big thing. I even would go to Funko Land back in the days. I even got those Dragon Ball games that you needed to put that little sticker underneath the PS1, or you put that little green plug in the back to play Japanese games. Oh yeah, we were that serious. You know what I mean? Though I started off on NES and SNES, but I told you I played all platforms. I had Sega, everything. It was great back then. Pure 100% games, nothing else.
I'd missed the PlayStation 3 because it was more money than I could afford at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Bought a 360 and fell in love, and I would love to get...
Oh, God. Reminded me of the PS3 and Sony and that cell processor. I was like, what are y'all thinking? Oh, man.
Back to that sort of that core Sony PlayStation energy that I used to feel. The closest I've come actually is Gran Turismo 7. That still has that old sort of, and it's because it's a Japanese developed game and it still has that sort of old PlayStation feel to it, even though you do have to spend some money to get all the cool.
Yeah, but I don't know if Sony's going to give you those, but I don't know. We're moving towards a different thing now. I get what he's saying, though. But going over here to finish it off, Nate, the Hate says there's a Nintendo Direct in September as well. I wonder if Microsoft is going to be bringing some games in there along with Sony. Boy, if they announce Helldivers 2 for Switch, I'm going to be laughing, but I think that's a thing. I think it's a very realistic thing that could work along with some other stuff. And he says, when the second week of the month, in the latter half on or around September 11th or 12th. So we know what to expect for this. Switch Force is beating you, bro. You got to keep up. He wasn't aware of Kirby Air Riders at Gamescom. There's a little bit of a competition here. But Nate the Hate has been pinpoint this whole year. Accurate. He's been on, everything he said has happened, so we know he's trustworthy. And then down here, Mario 40th anniversary, the first week of the month. I have not heard anything, so he doesn't know anything about that. Any news on what games will be shown? There will be the video variety. So this is pretty much what we have on here. Guys, I think, like I said, stuff like this Red Dead Redemption, I think that's coming. Those type of things you could expect to be coming to Switch, along with a lot of Switch 2 editions of games that didn't happen, which... Come on, man, give out those dev kits. That's annoying to me. Really annoyed because I'm like, hold on, I want to get Shinobi. And I want to get Ninja Gaiden Razebound. Why do I not have my Switch 2 editions for this? It's a big thing right now in the handheld to be able to do that. That would be fucking awesome, man. And have it docked. That's where I want my indies at sometimes because they just be cool like that. But I'm still sitting here having to wait on the Switch 2 patch because you didn't give out the dev kits. What the hell, man? That's pissing me off. So yeah, that's kind of like my annoyance with that. But other than that, I'm definitely looking forward to this direct. We need a release date for Metroid Prime 4. We need a release date for Hyrule Age of Imprisonment and Age of Imprisonment. And then we're going to be getting probably some other surprises and third-party announcemements. So yeah, that's going to be cool. But all in all, yeah, we got that direct coming, and then we have Sony State of Play or whatever they got coming. But all in all, it's interesting now more than ever to watch all these conferences because you never know what's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think about this. All right, peace out. Have a great day. Later.